guess I can throw one out there concerning the Google reviews. I always say Google is gold to people to try to try to say how important it is. Do you guys get situations where someone comes to you and says, "Can you remove this review for me?" It's like a bad review, or it's like I don't they'll say like I don't even know this person. I didn't even deal with them, or I had a brief conversation. And I know there's a long form you can fill out for people putting false reviews, but how do you handle that situation as far as a review that's bad and not correct and getting it taken off?
So you're correct, right? It's a difficult situation. We will talk about this in a little bit more detail during the session about how to respond to negative reviews. However, you certainly, if you have a review that either is false, it's not somebody you ever worked with before, or maybe it's a competitor that's trying to slander or libel. I forget which one's which on that. You can report them, right? However, there's no guarantee it's coming off. There's no service out there that's going to be able to remove all the bad reviews that you get. Bullshit. Doesn't happen. You've got to go. Only people that are removing reviews is Google, and you have to prove that. So a lot of time, if someone, for example, is bringing up another company, right, you can have that review removed usually. If someone is, let's say somebody has got it wrong, right? They said maybe they found your name is similar to a name that they use, and they wrote a bad review for you. Again, how you respond in explaining that is one thing, but if it's really negative, it's really hurting things, then you can go to Google and you can ask them to review and tell them why. But again, there is no guarantee that it's coming off. So we'll get into more about how to respond to negative reviews today. And once that does occur, oh, okay, Elaine just mentioned that she's on a phone call and be off soon. So I didn't have the chat window open there. So yeah, it's not that easy. Let's put it that way. There is no clear-cut delete button. You can't just delete something. You can't cultivate your reviews, good and bad, right? The idea is that these are supposed to be impartial reviews by people who've used your service. But of course, there's a lot of review spam out there. There's a lot of people that hire companies that leave reviews. We're not going to get too detailed into removal techniques or the spamming stuff thing. That's really not what I was really trying to go for with this. This is really more about, when you're trying to build up your reviews, how do you do it correctly? How do you not screw it up? How do you make sure that they come in the right time frames and so on? So yeah, so kind of to answer your question, it's very difficult to get a review removed. And unless you can really prove things to Google that, this person never worked for, I mean, just because you say somebody never, you worked with them doesn't mean that you didn't work with them, right? You could say, oh, this is an ex-employee. And if that's the case, that might get removed. But, Google's pretty much, listen, if it's factual, you don't like it, that's your problem. If it's, a lie or incorrect or something else, then it's more about explaining what's going on. And you've seen this probably. If you've looked around at any reviews at all, you've probably seen a review that comes up and the owner responds with, look, we've been through our records. We've looked through our database. We have no record of you before. I'm not really sure if you've got the wrong name. Give us a call and we could talk about it and figure out what's going on. The only other way that you can get a review deleted is to have the person that wrote it delete it. And that's, again, probably unlikely if that person is literally pissed at you. It's going to be, unless you do something really, really super nice that, it would be really difficult to get it removed. So that's basically the
Yeah,
answer to that.
yeah. I was just bringing it up real quick because like on the topic of how to get reviews, I've had people get mad at me sometimes saying like, I'm paying you to optimize my Google business profile and I got a bad review. It's like my fault. I was like, well, if you're putting yourself out there and asking people for reviews and they give their honest opinion,
Right.
there's nothing. It's like you're getting reviews. Just respond to it and make sure you word it nicely and just keep on getting more reviews
Correct.
and drowning that one out basically.
Yeah. Now, we will talk about some ways that can help push down some of the negative stuff a little bit later. There's a couple things that you can do to help move some of those negative things down the list so that at least they're not in the top three, for argument's sake, because that's typically what you see initially, or the most relevant kind of thing. So we'll talk a bit about that as well.